There we are. I see the red dot.
Red dot means I think we are recording.
We're recording. Hello, everyone. That's what you said.
Yes. Well, you can say it.
I said it. I wanted to say it.
Okay.
You always say it.
All right.
Welcome back, everyone. We just got done talking about leaky gut.
Gut. Yep.
Now let's tackle how a leaky gut might affect the thyroid in an autoimmune reaction that we call Hashimoto's thyroiditis. So that's an autoimmune disorder. What is an autoimmune disorder, Dr. Skoma?
Well, auto meaning itself. So what's happening is that the body is attacking itself in different parts of the body. It could be your thyroid, as you mentioned. It could be in your joints, and like a rheumatoid. It could be in the intestinal tract.
Mhm.
It could be anywhere.
Celiac disease, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis,
Yep. Yep.
bones, you mentioned rheumatoid arthritis, brain tissue could be Alzheimer's, Parkinson's.
So anywhere there's an inflammation.
Skin, eczema, psoriasis.
Yeah. So anywhere that body is the weak link that you and I like
Right.
to say,
Right.
will show that symptom.
Well, Synthroid is a very common medication in this country. It's one of the top, if not in the top one or two, certainly in the top 3 or 4 in sales every single year. So we know that hypo or low thyroid is a big problem. What we're not typically aware of is that usually those people have antibodies against their own thyroid and they're not being checked.
Now, what exactly are antibodies?
Well, that's a good question. There's a researcher by the name of Isabella Wentz.
Mhm.
She wrote a book on Hashimoto's thyroiditis. She's a smarty pants. And she indicates that 30% of the United States population is making antibodies against their own thyroid. So we make antibodies to fight different things like viruses and bacteria, etc.
Yep.
But we don't want antibodies to fight our own tissue. And that's what happens in Hashimoto's thyroiditis as an autoimmune disorder. 30% of the people in the United States, 40% of the people in Italy. I'm not sure why the Italians are so.
I don't know.
But that's a huge number, and you're not really getting that evaluated. So the next time you see your doctor and they do a thyroid workup on you, thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH, T4, T3, check your thyroid antibodies and begin to give thought on those things. Now you know about the leaky gut. That's affecting, in your case, your thyroid.
Now, there are other factors that could affect the thyroid.
Yes.
Stress is one of them.
Stress is a biggie. Cortisol,
Right, we go back to cortisol.
is a hormone, and it blocks the conversion of T4 to T3.
So T4 is what we would call the inactive form.
Correct.
And then it gets chemically activated.
Right,
and
right.
it becomes at T3.
T3. So T4 is the one we make the most of.
Right.
And then we convert that to T3, and then and every cell in the body has a receptor for thyroid. It's an incredible molecule, very simple, but it's a hormone. And cortisol dampens that whole conversion. It also shuts down the message from the brain to the thyroid. Thyroid stimulating hormone is shut down by cortisol.
Mm-hmm.
So stress is a big deal.
Okay.
Once again.
Another thing that can affect it is toxins.
Mm-hmm.
And my big thing is the EMF, electromagnetic force,
right.
Which you get from your cell phones,
Mm-hmm.
cell towers, wherever there's a electrical magnetic force.
Right. They should be like me. Keep the telephone turned off so no one can contact you. No, I'm trying to protect myself against EMF.
Yeah, I can never reach him.
That's now you know why.
Okay.
I'm protecting myself from EMF.
Because what does EMF do? It decreases your T4
Right.
by at least 90%.
Yeah. It's an incredible statistic, and that's electromagnetic radiation frequency.
Mm-hmm.
Toxic chemicals like BPA in plastics. Plastics are everywhere. BPA, bisphenol A. Its structure is very similar to the structure of the proteins in thyroid. So when the immune system sees BPA, it attacks it, but now that it looks like the thyroid, you also attack your thyroid. You get friendly fire, you get collateral damage, you get this, as you are often want to say, the cytokine storm.
Yeah.
This huge inflammatory reaction against now your own tissue, your own thyroid.
And we talk about mother's milk, so if the mom is, exposed to EMF, if she is using plastic to drink her beverage,
Right.
Those chemicals pass on to the child by way of something called epigenetics.
Epigenetics.
And that's a new study that's coming out, and it's very, very, it's showing a lot of long-term effects. And I think you said it's 4 generations?
4 generations, up to 4 generations, and
Genetic
that is
change?
transferred transgenerationally.
Mm-hmm.
So we know about genetics, that's our genes. We don't change our genes, but we change how the environment affects our genes, and
Right.
that's the epigenetic part of the equation, and it can last up to 4 generations.
Wow.
Yeah, that's our great grandmother.
Yeah, that's long-term.
Yeah, and you don't really think about that in terms of, gosh, what did my father do? What did my grandfather do? What did my great-grandfather do?
Yeah.
What did his father do? Well, those things are passed on, and
Yeah.
now we know that that's the case.
Yeah. Now you like to talk about selenium, just like you like to talk about vitamin D.
Mm-hmm.
And how much do you recommend?
I recommend
selenium?
200 micrograms of selenium a day for 3 months has been shown to decrease the auto-antibodies against your own thyroid up to 50%.
Oh, that's very good.
And you can get that from Brazil nuts.
Nuts, right? Or supplements.
Or supplements. I do the supplements because I want to know I'm getting the 200 micrograms and 4 or 5 Brazil nuts. Well, I don't really know. I know they're high in selenium.
Right.
And they're high in protein and fiber and good oil, so Brazil nuts are something good to take. But particularly in their content of selenium. So that's important with Hashimoto's thyroiditis. And we could go on and on about other autoimmune diseases, but we talk about that a lot in class 5.
Well, I'd like to just interject one thing there about the nuts. The only caveat on that is that if you suffer from kidney stones,
Okay.
and you have calcium oxalate stones that form,
Yes.
you have to watch out for the nuts, because a lot of nuts have calcium oxalate when they break down. So you're doing one thing good, and you're going to wind up with a kidney stone.
Wow, doesn't sound good.
No. So just watch that. If you know you have calcium oxalate stones, just don't eat nuts, or maybe eat them very, infrequently, or just go take the vitamin.
Don't get nutty with the nuts.
Don't get nutty with the nuts. Now we have a chart we'd like to show you that talks about the autoimmune disease.